My name is Sheva Ganz, and I live in Boca Raton, Florida. I grew up in Toronto, Canada, one of six children in a pretty strict Jewish Orthodox home. Growing up in a home like that meant there were a lot of rules and regulations, guidelines that we had to follow as children. And as a girl, a lot of those rules had to do with what I wore, how I dressed, how I presented myself publicly, and who I hang out with. And so that those kind of rules really affected how I viewed myself, how I viewed my body, and my skills and ability to develop deep and loving relationships. It affected me so much so that after I got married at the young age of 22, which was my life progression, we were supposed to get married young, although 22 is actually considered kind of old in my circles. I didn't really have the skills to develop a loving and deep, trustworthy relationship with my husband. And he grew up in a similar environment, and I don't think he had the skills. So we were greatly mismatched in our ability to connect and get through some really, really challenging times in our marriage. After 10 years and three kids together, we called it quits. We decided that it wasn't the best thing for us to stay together for us and for our kids. And so we separated, and my whole life had been this progression towards my marriage, towards motherhood. And when my divorce happened, I had an identity crisis of who am I now that I'm no longer married. I'm not a wife and mother, but I'm a single mother on my own. Where do I stand in terms of relationships, in terms of myself, my sexuality, my individuality, my motherhood? I had to re examine and identify all of those in my 30s. So after we got divorced, my ex took a few months for him to find his own apartment. So I had the kids full time, and I was really looking forward to the day when he would finally get his own place and have my kids so I can get a break. And that day came one Thursday night. He got his own place. He came to pick up the kids. I was so excited, and the door closes behind them, and I found myself alone in my house, just standing in the silence. And the silence that I had been so craving turned out to be such a crushing disappointment, bringing with it an overwhelming sense of loneliness and despair. And I walked from room to room, and I sat on my kids' beds, and I was very melodramatic about it. And I lay down and I cried and I held their teddy bears until finally this voice in my head said, "This is your life now. Get up and make some choices that will change the course of your life." So I opened my computer and I went on Meetup, and I found this dance meetup, a swing dance meetup on Thursday nights, which is the night that my ex takes the kids. So it was karma. The first Thursday night comes, my kids go with their dad. I get in my car and I drive to this local swing dance meetup. And that night changed the course of my life. And my story is about how dancing helped me build my resiliency muscle. When I tapped into my creative soul and my creative energy, I was able to take all of my pain and channel it towards growth.